Greetings and welcome to Unit 17 of Module 1. We continue with writing course outcomes. In the earlier unit, we looked at or we understood writing the course outcome statements, ensuring their quality and relevance. First thing is course outcomes, either as we said 6 to 8 course outcomes. They should address the course completely. You cannot address the course only partially. They should address the course completely and they should be reasonably distributed. We will talk about that in this. And the quality and relevance are ensured by following do's and don'ts and also checking your outcome against the list that is provided, checklist. Having written that, we have further activities to do, and that is what we will do in this unit. Identify the number of classroom sessions associated with the CO and tag the course outcomes with POs and PSOs, cognitive levels. Actually it should be cognitive level only, and knowledge categories addressed. Now, as we already stated, many universities describe their syllabi of the courses in terms of 5, 6 or more units. All units are associated with the same number of classroom sessions. But when you look at it from course outcome point of view, all COs need not be of the same scope in terms of classroom sessions. Because if you are associating one CO with one unit, then you have the same number of classroom sessions for all the units. One should not be doing. Especially autonomous institutions are not required to follow the unit structure and may have the number of COs as decided by the subject and the teacher. And different COs may require different number of classroom sessions. Because one can say the number of classroom sessions roughly represent the scope of that CO. If I am explaining something, a CO, within about 1 hour or half an hour, then obviously the scope is limited. If I am taking something like 8 to 10 classroom sessions to explain one CO, it is not the same as a half-hour session. That means I have the scope of that particular CO is very large. So that scope is indicated by associating the roughly the number of classroom sessions that one takes to address that particular CO. And now what we want is tag each CO with certain characteristics. First thing, as we said, CO statement should start with an action verb from one of the cognitive levels and occasionally by 2 action verbs from 2 cognitive levels. Remember, it is occasionally, not as a matter of course. The action verb enables you to tag a CO with a cognitive level. Use these acronyms: R for remember, U for understand, AP for apply, AN for analyze, E for evaluate and C for create. For example, if you write a CO with an action verb taken from the analyze group, then you can tag that CO with a capital A small n. That is the way we tag. What happens is, as there are no sharp demarcation lines between some cognitive levels, there is a possibility of one action verb representing 2 different cognitive levels, and you just have to use the judgment. For example, identify is an action verb. It can come under understand, it can also come under analyze. So which one should I use? You should use your judgment in such case. And also we said A CO statement can include one or more categories of knowledge. So, you enumerate all the knowledge elements, and this in turn will be followed by as optionally the conditions under which this action should be performed, and also a criteria of acceptance of the performance. For example, if you are writing an outcome for a laboratory exercise, to what accuracy you would like to measure something, that accuracy will come as a criteria as well. So, wherever there is a laboratory work is involved, a outcome related to laboratory work is there, one should attempt to have those conditions as well as criteria of acceptance. Sometimes the CO statement may not explicitly indicate all the concerned knowledge categories. The way you write may not imply all the knowledge categories you are interested, and some of them are implicitly addressed, and again instructor needs to decide these categories based on proposed design of the instruction and assessment. So, how many categories of knowledge that you want to include is left to the teacher and his understanding of the scope and activities related to attaining that particular CO. Now, what happens is, we have already mentioned the POs and take the PSO. PSOs are program specific outcomes. Let us say you have a BSc in geology. What exactly the students are expected to learn are expressed through 2 to 4 program specific outcome statements. So, what happens is, your course should also address one of the PSO. If it does not address any of the PSO, the PSOs have nothing to do with this particular course. Either the course is wrongly put in that, or the PSOs were written not appropriately. So, one has to go back and rewrite the PSOs, especially if the COs of core courses are not addressing those PSOs. So, if PSOs are written well, there should not be any ambiguity regarding the PSO addressed by the course under consideration. Generally what happens is, if they are written even well or otherwise, unless you want to make it in some complicated way, which is but just still justifiable, the COs, all the COs of a course are likely to address the same PSO. Occasionally, depending on how you write, it may address multiple PSOs. So, by and large, you can say COs of a course will address one particular PSO. And here comes a bit of difficulty. So, your entire program is described in terms of certain POs, where for our presentation we chose 6 POs, and these POs are program non-specific. That means they are applicable. We have identified for our presentation or for our this particular module 6 POs, which the university can rewrite them according to their needs, and these POs are discipline non-specific. That means a course in BA in English literature and a BSc course in geology will have the same POs in one university or in one institution. Now what happens is, the teachers should familiarize themselves and with these POs and completely internalize, because these characteristics, these attributes as stated by POs have to be attained by all the students of the program. So, there is no exception to that, having selected that. And So what happens is when I write my CO, which PO am I addressing, either directly or indirectly? I should be able to comment on that. One should not be over ambitious. That means my course addresses all the 6 POs, or you cannot take a position my course does not address any of the POs there. Then in that case what happens is, we will see later, this course will have nothing to do with the attainment of POs and PSOs. So there is another issue. If you are giving a, for example, sustainability, environment and communication, take these 3. These 3 are associated with 3 different POs. I may have a course officially put in, for example, UGC requires that every program should have a course on environment and also sometimes sustainability, and also there is a course, compulsory course on communication. So what may happen, I say okay, as it is required by the curriculum, these issues are already addressed by PO and my course will have nothing to do with those POs. Or I can say communication is important to that particular subject, even though it is addressed by other course, I am going to have some elements of this communication incorporated into my course. Okay. So taking that, you should be careful which POs your course is going to address. You cannot completely take them off, nor you should be over ambitious to put too many POs into that. But the moment you say that I am addressing that particular PO, that particular PO should get reflected in the rubrics used for measuring the attainment. For example, if there is nothing at all, no marks are being added to any of the, let us say take communication, but no marks are at all given to the communication skills of the student, then that PO is only given on the piece of paper but not actually measured. Okay. Now you should tag a CO with a PO, should require that the assessment includes items related to the identified PO. So this is going to be a little tough process, but once you do for a course, it is not required to keep on spending time. So generally when you are writing COs with proper addressing of POs and PSOs, it is generally one time affair. One should be careful about it. To that extent, we strongly recommend that you spend considerable time to make sure that what POs and PSOs you are addressing. Okay, this is what we already stated. While a CO of a course can potentially address a large number of POs potentially, but you may not have the required time and resources to ensure that happens, because the time available to you remains the same. Okay, time available to you remains the same. The whatever number of working weeks you have in a semester, that is all that you will have. There is another issue. Even if I associate a particular PO with a CO, the assessment related to that cannot be easily designed sometimes, and even if you are able to design, cannot be used in a centrally conducted and evaluated examinations, as more than 90% of the colleges in India are affiliated to some university. So it is centrally conducted exam in most of the times, and in such cases some type of POs cannot be, you cannot design assessment related to some POs. That should be remembered. A department can also arrange some activities outside the curriculum to address some POs, but that is easier said than done. The scope and distribution of these activities need to be carefully planned by the department. As you can see, the outcome based education demands that many things are planned and should be monitored at the department level. A course does not exclusively belong to a teacher, especially a core course. The core courses are really the property of the or responsibility of the entire department. That should be remembered. Otherwise, which POs you are planning to address, not address, should be decided centrally rather than individual views or conveniences. Now, here we give an example of a course. This is actually designed by some faculty members who are offering the course on developmental biology. You may agree or disagree with that, that is a different issue, but the structure of this is how all of you need to design your course outcomes and tag them appropriately. Let us look at this. It is a 3:0:0 credits, and how many lecture classroom sessions can you have? That depends on the number of teaching weeks that you have. Teaching weeks, our survey shows it could be either 14, 15 or even 16, but it should never be more than 16. Okay. Though in some places people automatically take it, say 18 weeks, 90 days as the working days, but you cannot have all the working days only for the classroom instruction. Something will have to be left for internal evaluations and end semester exam, preparatory things, and so on and on. So, the maximum is 16 and normally it is about 14 to 15. So, here we take 15 weeks as the norm. That means if 3 credit course you are taking 3 classroom sessions per week, then the total number of classroom sessions should be 45. So, 3 into 15, 45. If you want to make it 16 weeks, then it is 48. Please remember that the scope of each CO should be adjusted so that finally you should not exceed the total number of classroom sessions. Here, as we said, we took it as 45, and also the number of classroom sessions are not necessarily uniform across all COs. See, right in the first page itself, we have seen the CO5 takes 8 classroom sessions in the view of the teacher, whereas CO4 takes only 4 sessions. So, they can differ from one CO to the other. Then take the first one, understand the structural and functional features of human reproductive system. Now, the word understand itself very clearly says it belongs to cognitive level. CL is cognitive level, and we put U as the as a label for that, tag for that. And then the knowledge categories, it is mainly conceptual. Functional features of human reproductive system. It is, if you want, you can also add the earlier category, namely factual knowledge. So, one can say this knowledge category can involve factual and conceptual. Then comes POs and PSOs. So, the designer of this course considers this addresses PO1. PO1 is related to dominantly the critical thinking. That means the critical thinking dimension is addressed through the CO. And PSO3 is one PSO related to where developmental biology is part of that PSO. So, PSO3 is marked. Come to CO2, understand the type of X based on the amount, distribution and position of yolk. It is included PO1 and PO5 as well. So, another PO is included in this, and here also you have cognitive level understand and knowledge category C, conceptual, and class sessions are 6. So, like that I am not going to read all the COs. The correspondingly one has to tag like this. You are supposed to have written course outcomes of your course as a part of the earlier unit, Having written that, you can go through another iteration by tagging those course outcomes. Now completing that, there are 9 course outcomes. 9 is slightly higher, but as I said, there is no hard and fast rule to say exactly one number. So here this teacher decided to have 9, so that it clarifies for him as well as to the students what exactly are the outcomes. As you can see, the total hours of instruction finally add up to 45. Okay. So the assumption is we have a 15 teaching weeks in a semester effectively. So PSO3 is common for all, and the actual POs addressed differ from one course outcome to the other. So that is how, in a tabular form like this, you have to create your you have to write your course outcomes. Now as far as exercise is concerned, the tag the course outcomes you developed in the earlier unit with POs, PSOs, cognitive level, knowledge categories, and number of class, or if there is a laboratory associated with that, you are integrating the laboratory with the theory course, then you add one more column. Next to class sessions, you can add one more column, laboratory hours, or some course may have field activity, field hours. You can add that, and they will be, you can add the number of hours separately. So this is the format in which you can write your COs, and we would appreciate if you share your output with the instructor at this mail address. And in the next unit, we will try to compute the attainment of course outcomes and how to close the quality loop around the COs. Okay? And thank you very much for your attention.